What's up, Keto Nation? This is Keto Queen City. I'm Jennifer, your host. We are committed to changing the world one carb at a time. So we're getting ready for the 13-day challenge. It's planning to start on June 13th. So I wanted to do a series of videos to kind of get you guys the basics. I did just a real quick, like 1 or 2 minute video yesterday. I realized it just wasn't probably as detailed as it needed to be, but about what is ketosis. But this video is just gonna be for a few minutes, and it's going to be entitled K.I.S.S. Keto is super simple. But I just wanted to give you a really quick history of where the ketogenic diet came from. So in 1921, there was a man named Russell Wilder, and they were looking at trying to find a way to help prevent seizures in people with epilepsy, with severe epilepsy. And so what they found was that when these patients were fasting or when they weren't consuming food, their seizures would stop, or almost all but together stop. And so what they did was they kind of played around with the metabolism and the body a bit, and the diet, to see if they could mimic the effects of fasting. If they could show the body how to mimic fasting without actually fasting, because you can't fast all the time. So what they developed was called the state of ketosis. And basically what it is because your body is so used to using and burning sugar and glucose, it doesn't ever really have a chance to kind of go into that starvation mode and that tap into your fat stores. And what they found was that when these people were fasting, they were tapping into their own fat stores. And the magic of this process, which is called ketosis, was healing the brain, reducing inflammation in the brain, and thusly reducing seizures. I'm a huge believer, and I know there's research on this. I was diagnosed as bipolar. I'm going to have my addiction issues, as you guys know, but I was diagnosed as bipolar and bipolar and epilepsy. The medication in some instances is the same exact medicine. The medicine I was taking was an anti-seizure medication. So I thought that was kind of how I started this channel. As I started realizing that ketosis was, as far as with my bipolar and my ups and downs, and then also my cravings for, my substance abuse cravings, I think it's very much a brain issue and inflammation in the brain. And there's actually studies, they're really, really strong studies now that in addition to diabetes and cancer and heart conditions, that the ketogenic diet is amazing for like brain diseases, reducing dementia and Alzheimer's, and of course epilepsy. And then I believe that the addiction and bipolar is going to feed right into that. So that was kind of exciting to see that. So anyway, it was developed in 1921. Let's talk really quick about, I did that brief video, but what ketosis is. So is when you deprive your body of, and depriving sounds bad in the beginning because once you feel the effects of what ketosis feels like, you don't feel like you're depriving yourself. If you do it right, you won't want to switch back, I promise. But you're restricting your carbohydrates. The body can make its own carbohydrates. You don't need to ingest carbohydrates. Now there's good carbohydrates and healthy fiber and things, in vegetables and whatnot. But there is no need, you need to put white sugar, white salt, white starch into your body. I mean, for runners and marathoners, different things like that, there is a place for high glycemic carbs, but your body can actually make carbohydrates and turn them into glucose for your brain, because your brain needs glucose to run on. But your body has an amazing ability to do that on its own, and that's a process called gluconeogenesis, which is another video. But anyway, so I promise you, I need carbs. Well, you'd be surprised. Like I said, your body is an amazing thing. God created us to be amazing and to heal ourselves. So when you restrict your carbohydrates they used to say, like, a strict ketogenic diet, I always went off the number 20 net carbs a day. Again, that's your total carbs minus fiber is your net carbs, which that is going to be you're going to, when you realize how many carbs you actually eat in a day, it's going to be very eye-opening. However, they have really since modified that and said it's really 50 net carbs. And again, that's going to depend on your metabolism. And you can kind of dial your diet in once you really feel like what I kind of like to use 13 net carbs, but some days I go over. Anyway, so once you have restricted your carbs to under 20 or 50, depending on the kind of the plan you're on, or the philosophy, about 48 hours in, your body is going to switch from burning sugar and carbs. There are no sugar and carbs to burn anymore. And the lipolysis occurs where you're going to release triglycerides. Lipolysis is releasing of triglycerides or fat from your cells to burn as fuel. It turns them into ketones in the liver. And your body, when your body is running on ketones versus sugar, it is the cleanest form of energy. It's like going from burning like a messy energy making process like diesel and, gas for your car, to like a Tesla. That's like the best way to describe it. Like the cleanest, most powerful electric vehicle. Powerful electric vehicle. It really is. And it's just, there's something magical about the way it makes you feel and the way you look. But anyway, so that's ketosis. So let's talk about what keto is not. Okay, so keto, it's not just a low carb diet. People, that's going to be more like your Atkins, right? So you can completely restrict, your carbs. Anybody can lose weight by restricting their carbs to a certain extent, but this is what we're calling dirty keto, right? Dirty keto is where you're looking at strictly net carbs and you're eating you're still eating like processed foods and dairy and stuff. It just maybe have fillers in it. So that's dirty keto. So this is not just a low carb diet. It's not the K.I.S.S version is not dirty. We're not dirty around here. So, and it is not high protein diet. Sometimes people think it's bacon, eggs, and cheese all the time. It's actually low to moderate protein, which we're going to talk about in a second. And it's not just eating bacon and cheese all the time. And it is not just a massive calorie eating diet with no regard to, calories in, calories out. There are several schools of thought on calories in, calories out, and I'll tell you mine, and we'll do another video about it. But this isn't a calorie counting diet. Now, I will tell you, I have a tracker. I know exactly how many calories I eat a day. And that's sort of a byproduct of, because I use a tracker that tracks what I eat so that I know exactly what vitamins and minerals that I'm getting, where I'm lacking, so that I can appropriately buy supplements so I'm not wasting my money. It's called Carb Tracker. You guys, I'm going to show you how to use this. I think it's the best one for keto out there, Carb Tracker. And it's free. But that's why I know how many calories I eat. But it is eye-opening, because sometimes when you are... Keto is a 75%... Well, we'll get into what keto is. So keto is the therapeutic... So there's therapeutic ketosis and there's nutritional ketosis. Most people that are doing the keto diet are in nutritional ketosis. Now, therapeutic ketosis, which is the diet that is more of the brain healing, and that is the one I follow just for the brain benefits. But we're talking about with epilepsy, seizures, some of these diseases, Alzheimer's, I would recommend doing more of a therapeutic, and I'm not a doctor, I'm a health coach, but a therapeutic version of ketosis is going to give you more brain benefits. But so the therapeutic is 75% healthy fat, 20% protein, and 5% or less of carbohydrates. A nutritional ketosis, you're going to look at like more like 65 to 70 healthy fat, and then adjust from there. Now, there is some research and some indication that when you get to be over about 45 years of age, that a modified keto, that they call it a higher protein, like high protein keto, I guess you can call it, which is 60% healthy fat, 35% protein, and 5% carbs. And there are a lot of guys that are like that, more like your weightlifters, because there is this, I'm going to call it a myth, that you need all this protein to build muscle. Actually, your liver can only synthesize so much protein. And so a lot of people are wasting a bunch of money buying all this protein. Their body, you're not absorbing it because your liver can only handle so much. So you need to be very strategic with your protein, and combining it with keto, it's more of a muscle sparing. Keto is actually a muscle sparing way of eating. Just a lot of people, the word isn't quite out about it yet, but we are here to change that. So again, so it's not, so 20 to 35% protein, depending on your age and your gym habits. the 5% carbs again is going to come from vegetables, and occasionally, you know, you'll have some like lower glycemic carbs in there. The healthy fats are going to be like your olive oil, avocados, avocado oil, nuts. Some nuts are, we'll talk about it, but healthy low carb nuts, macadamia nuts are awesome. Brazil nuts are awesome. They have a lot of selenium too. So we are going to go through all this stuff before the challenge. You guys are going to be ready. So, but another thing that keto is it is a diet that is very focused on harnessing insulin. Insulin is a necessary hormone, but insulin is the fat storage hormone. You cannot, I think I've mentioned this in another video, you cannot burn fat in the presence of food, and in the presence of insulin, you cannot burn fat because it's counterintuitive, it's counter something. But it's going to dramatically lower your blood sugar, and we're going to be testing our blood sugar and our ketones during the challenge. So you guys are going to really get an idea. Some of you are going to do this challenge, and you might realize that you are insulin resistant or pre-diabetic and didn't even know it. But the good news is this: you can totally take control of it now. So it's going to be very eye-opening for you. We don't, again, really not counting calories, but as a result, if you guys use this tracker, you can keep adding fat. Don't add fat. Don't add fat to stuff just for fat's sake. Because I'm on keto, I add fat. You are going to have to add fat in the beginning because you want to get your body kind of revved up and your liver to realize, oh my gosh, there's this, MCT oil or these, healthy oils, and learning how to burn fat for fuel. So you will need more in the beginning, but then you're going to adjust that as you get more fine-tuned. So that's what keto is. That's what keto isn't. Now I just want to really quick tell you there's different forms of keto. Okay. I do modify, I'm going to tell you the different types, and I'm going to tell you what I do. So the first one is SKD, is standard keto diet, and that's what we talked about. It's going to be, your 65 to 75% healthy fat, 20 to 30% protein, and 5 to 10% carbs, depending on your age and your gym habits. Then there's what's called cyclical keto. It's where you do carb refeeds every X amount of days or weeks. And it's not so much like cheat meals, although you can kind of call them that, but they're going to be where, and you will find a lot of men and women that work out a lot will do a cyclical keto. Is like a carb refeed. So they'll do 5 days of strict keto, 2 days of carb refeeds. What that does is so leptin is another hormone that it has to do with hunger and your metabolism. Leptin is the hormone that triggers your metabolism to go up or down. So the thought behind this is that sometimes you can be on keto so long that your body, lowering your metabolism isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's your body's way of becoming really efficient and optimizing and just being a well-oiled machine, like getting rid of all the extra stuff. So, but that can be tricky if you do want to go off and, have a couple days or go on vacation and, you're concerned about, you're going to be ingesting more calories. You do need to reset your leptin every now and then. And that's where cyclical keto comes in. So that'd be like 5 days of strict keto and then 2 carb refeed days. And I will do a video about that. I do that occasionally. I usually like about every 13 days. Every 13 days I do a leptin reset or a carb refeed. And it really does help. It's amazing. It works. And then there is targeted keto, the targeted keto diet, excuse me. And this is, again, a little bit more for your gym rats, so to speak, or people that want to target carbs specifically around their workouts for different reasons, whether it be for having more energy through a workout or doing it immediately after to be able to eat a little bit more carbs, and you've already depleted your glycogen stores, and that's scientific, but we'll talk about that. There is also what is really my favorite. It's actually the one I've been doing and didn't even realize it, but it's becoming more popular. It's called Mediterranean keto. Mediterranean keto. So Mediterranean diet is extremely successful and it's a very healthy diet, but there are more carbs. You are going to have more legumes and whole grains in there. And I just feel better without the grains. But there's Mediterranean keto where you're really taking the best parts of the Mediterranean diet and overlapping them with keto. So your carbs are still low, but you're just really you're focusing more on your olive oils and your fatty fish and healthy fish and olives, and it's actually amazing. And I was doing it, didn't even realize it. But there's what's called blue zone countries. Blue zone countries are, you're going to see them. If you ever look up a blue zone country map, you'll see like there's islands like Crete and, in the Mediterranean, there's these islands that are sort of like, not self-sustaining, but they're, they're more living off the land, and there's a lot of different things that are happening in these blue zone countries, and their diets are very specific, but they have more centenarians, which is people who've lived past 100 than any other, anywhere in the world. So it's kind of, I got interested in that during my health coaching school. And so I do the Mediterranean keto. So anyway, so those are the types of keto. Remember, keto is super simple. You can really get, I fell in love with ketosis and just the whole, when I realized that it has helped me in every area of my life, helps keep me sober, helps my sleep, helps my relationships, it helps just my spiritual life. It gives me clarity. I just fell in love with it. So I really do like to drill down into very specific facets of it. And so you'll kind of, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed by that, because I might throw out phrases that kind of like, you're like, Jen, I want to lose 10 pounds by tomorrow. I don't care about, leptin. But anyway, so I just want you to know it can be really simple, and I'm going to keep it simple. And I'm going to do other videos for people that are kind of like science nerds that want to get into more of that with me. There's a lot of really awesome guys out there on YouTube and the internet that really do dig into the science, and I do not pretend to be anywhere near what these guys have done. They really take it to the next level, and they're amazing. But they have inspired me, and I just, like I said, I'm in love with it. And I hope you will be too, but I'm going to make it easy for you. So just remember, keto is super simple. June 13th, we're going to start the challenge. More videos to follow. If you guys would smash the like button, send it to your friends, subscribe, whatever we can do to get everybody on for the challenge. And put comments in, send me a comment. Tell me where you're messaging me from, if you're going to join the challenge, and or if there's anything that is concerning you about starting, or any specific topics that you want me to do a video about before the challenge starts. So anyway, like I said, thanks for watching, guys. Hope, love, peace, and transformation to the willing. See you in the next video.